Hi, my name is Glenn. I'm a natural instrument pilot in real life, fly small aircraft. This video was meant as a tutorial for a friend on how to use a Garmin 430. He recently got a new airplane and X-plane, so I wanted to show the basics of using the 430. It's a very rough and tumbly video. It's not meant to be a perfect tutorial, but I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so tricky and explain it in quick, which is quite nice to bring up a full screen version of the device. So we're at Shell Harbour, we want to go to Nowra. So the bottom's the bottom, CDI, which is changes basically source selection. So VLOC means VOR or localizer, and there's also GPS, so those are the normal two options. OBS for like selecting a particular degree you want to be based on, so we want to use it here. Messages for messages, your FPL for flight plan, VNav for vertical navigation, so you can sort of like set, what point height you want to be at, and it'll tell you when you should start descending. And procedures, the menu for doing menu, which is context aware, so different menus have different things. A direct to, so you can go direct to a location. A clear button and an enter button. And primary sort of entry is via the sort of like these two dials. So you got the smaller one and the outer one. So when you're going to input a flight plan, you press the flight plan button. It's in its outer mode. You press the button here to get a cursor showing. You'll scroll with the outer wheel, and then the inner one's for importing stuff. So if we want to get to Nowra, we would just manually with the inner wheel go to Y, outer wheel, move along one, inner wheel, go to S, outer wheel, move along one, now we'll go to N, outer wheel, move along one, and now we'll find the W. Oh, I'm just using the mouse wheel, so it's not too complicated. So you do this for each one of your kind of like your waypoints. Click enter, accept. So now you can check it. So you can see the distance is 27 miles. That sounds about right. Cumulative miles, so that's just the distance from this waypoint to this waypoint. And now what I can do, so we know we're going to do ILS in this aircraft, so we'll go ILS and we'll select the approach. So we can select arrival. We use the outer wheel to select, and we hit enter to select it. So here's all the different approaches. So we can do the ILS Yankee. We don't have tech on this aircraft, even though it's coming up. So we can do Yankee. We would select our initial waypoint. Actually, I think we don't want to do Yankee. We want to do Zulu because that's the one that uses the localizer. So we'll go back. We'll go procedure. Select the approach. Go to Zulu. Enter. We'll start a particular location. Vectors basically is if you're expecting ATC to vector you in. D0320 is on the DME outer mark. If you see, it's actually highlighted on the approach. And we have two options here. So load basically is when you haven't been approved yet for the approach, but you want to all have it loaded in there for later on when ATC gives you the okay to start the approach. So when they say the magic clear for the approach, ILS 21 Yankee, or sorry, Zulu, that's when you'll hit activate. If you've already been approved, you'll hit activate. So you just go for the moment load. So we go to the flight plan, so we hit the FPL button again. You can see here, we still got this leg. See how it's got purple? Those two purple just basically means the active leg. So it's going from Shell Harbour to Nowra. And then the approach isn't got a purple line with it. So it's just showing, hey, this is loaded, ready to go. So if we go to now procedures and we go activate the approach, you almost never want to do vectors to final. You always want to activate the approach. We hit OK. So you can see now the GPS has kind of like got this 430, 4020, got it set up nicely on the ILS. We have to look at our approach plate to find out the heights and stuff. That stuff isn't normally included. But you can see now it's very different, right? So when you do activate approach, it's almost like a direct to. It's going to take you to the first fix on the approach, and it's going to activate that leg. So you can see it's almost like a direct to when we got to D0320, then put the leg between uh, D0320 and the CI21 Zulu, which I think is just the first waypoint. So it sets you up for that. So you can kind of see what it's doing is now if we exit the flight plan menu, to get out of these menus, you can either hit clear. We don't want to do that, right? So we'll say no. Normally you just hit the FPL button, takes you back to this view. So this is your CDI, which if your CDI mode is in GPS mode, it'll be emulated here. Later on, we want to make sure that Shell Harbour's VOR is tuned in. So how you can do that is I'll just get the approach plate quickly for you. I'm just going to read it offline so I know what it is. And we'll go to Nowra and the Zulu approach. So now is 180.5. You can see that's already tuned in. But if we want to tune it in, the way these 430s work is they're kind of like one mode tuning at once. So if you see how this push C/V, so that's communication slash VLOC or VOR. So we can change it and then we can change the outer frequency, so whatever that is, and the inner. So outer does this outer three numbers and inner does the outer two numbers. And then we can hit the V button to swap it over. So you can see it's kind of showing you a difference between the two. And comms are up here, so you can see the comm is, we need to select it again, and then we're tuning the one we want and go from there. So our initial height at now is 4,300 at tow rag at 403, whatever that waypoint was, if we look at it in D0320. That's our initial waypoint. So let's get the aircraft started really quickly. So we got we want to kill the yoke because that just gets in the way. We got the fuel pump on. We got mixture full rich. We got that. What am I missing? We'll put the alternator on. There we go. And we could, so if we go alt mode, so that puts the GPS on, not really applicable. Normally, some of these GPSs, by the way, I've got two of them, will dual them up. So if your flight plans up here, sometimes they don't. You can set up different flight plans depending on what you're doing. And this message is basically telling me dial this OBS here onto 172. So that message will disappear as soon as I dial it on approach. See, disappeared. Now I'm going to use a feature called the instructor mode. So if we go into here, so this is the instructor mode. You can see it includes all the waypoints. So if I zoom in a bit, you can see my aircraft's here. You can see the different routes. So we want to get down here to Nowra, right? Now what I want to do is kind of like set us up in the air. So I can grab my aircraft. I can change the altitude on it. So I make it, I don't know, 6,000. So you can see now I'm in the air. I'm doing loop to loops, and I can drag my icon down, right? So I can bring it down here a bit. So that's just a quick way to move around in the next plane, which is something Microsoft Flight Sim doesn't have, right? So if we go out of that message mode again, so you can see we're way off the course, right? So we want to kind of track towards that T, whatever it is. We're at 5,000. Our initial height should be 4,300, so we want to descend. And we just want to go direct to. So the quick way to do that is go procedure, activate approach again. Remember how it says almost like a direct to? And now it's kind of like, it should, in theory, activate us directly to that waypoint. So if I could do, you can also go direct to, activate, and if I exit out of the flight plan mode, you can kind of see it set up a little direct to that location for us. So this is like a primitive map. This is the range buttons. So bottom button zooms out, this zooms in. You can see we're kind of getting towards our tow rag. D3020. And by default in this, it sort of like sets it up almost like I don't know, like a track up mode. I think if you go to menu button, you can usually change that in real life. I haven't been able to do that easily in here. It's probably settings mode. We go to VNAV, we could also set up, hey, this is the altitude, so we press the little button and we want to be at, I don't know, 3,000 feet before, like a certain waypoint, we can set that up as well. But we won't worry about it at the moment. We'll go back to nav mode. So now we're kind of on that toe raggy. We're facing the wrong direction, right? Our height's about right, 4,800. We can start descending down though. And so one thing to be aware of with these 430s and 530s is we need to be in the correct mode. So at the moment we're navigating on the GPS. I'm now pointing towards the correct location. So now it's down there. I want to start reducing height, bring out the power. We're on a 172. We want to activate that approach again. And we're kind of on that leg there. So what we can do is we can kind of go in here, go there. We can scroll down, press the cursor, get the cursor, scroll down with the outer button, and we can say do a direct to CI 217 Zulu. So if we go back to our flight plan now, you can see now we've got a CDI both on here and on here. So it's telling me to turn right. So we'll turn right. The other thing I want to do now is we want to start navigating on the VLOC mode, right? So as soon as I hit the VLOC, it swapped me over. So this now will be pointing towards the VOR. This will be still on the GPS, which is kind of useful. We want to be tracking what's our direction on a 212. So this kind of gives me, if I'm lined up here, that's great. You can see here, I want to keep the height up because we haven't got the localizer here. So we want to track 212. I'm looking at the numbers here. This is our current track. This is our current track we want to keep with our waypoint. So it's telling me this is the track of the aircraft. This is a direct track of the point we want to go to, and this is the distance to get to that waypoint. My power's a little bit low, so I can probably bring a bit more of that in because we probably want about 2,300 RPM down here. Because we're descending, now we'll rest the descent rate. And now we're just going to track the 212, kind of keep it up here. We've got this stupid thing. It's pretty useless because no, I can't rely on that. So we're just going to wait until that localizer and the ILS kind of, we capture the glide slope. So we're good on the localizer. We're tracking that 212. We're just waiting for that glide slope there on that top CDI to match. So I'm going to keep my height until that happens. Okay, it's coming in now. We've got the localizer. I can use my heading bug. So normally I would head for my heading bug with I'll use the mouse wheel to squirrel across. So there's not much wind today, so that's great. And now my glide slope's coming in. It's actually telling me to fly down. I'll reduce my power, start setting up a glide descent. Our ground speed's about, so you can see here, GS means ground speed, 93 knots. Divide 90 by half is 45, 40-ish. So we want to do 400 feet. Is a quick math calculation. So you divide by half, add a zero, and that gives you your feet per minute you want to capture. So you can see here it's telling me I want to be about 400 feet per minute on this. So keep that coming, keep on. So you can see I'm good on the localizer. I'm not good on it's telling me to keep flying down on the glide slope. So I probably want a little bit more than that initial glide slope heading. I want to get into the wide arc. So I'll reduce the power a bit more. A wide arc on the airspeed indicator. I'll reduce the speed a bit. So I keep the descent coming, but that allows me to get the nose up, which allows me to get a stage of flap in. One stage of flap, which isn't correctly, I'll just do this on the mouse. So worry about the ballooning. I still need to get down. I'm tracking a little bit to the right now, so it's giving me a fly left command. Okay, I'm flying left. I still want to get down, so I'm pushing beyond that quick calculation in my head of 400 feet per minute. And the nice thing about that calculation, by the way, it works in airlines, it works in Cessnas, it works in any aircraft. It's a quick and easy calculation to do. Okay, we're back on glide slopes, and now I want to arrest that descent a bit. I want to be tracking a little bit more to the left. One thing to be aware of is that CDI will quickly get out of tune unless I'm kind of like tracking correctly. So I'm on glide slope. It's actually telling me to fly up a bit, which makes sense because we calculated we want to do 400 feet and I was only about 700 feet there. So we'll arrest that descent rate a bit. Okay. Toe rags are in between. Yep. So we want to be at 2,300 at that point. So we're a bit below, but I haven't tuned in accurate QNH, so I wouldn't be surprised. And the other thing is it is giving me a fly up command, so that makes sense. So we'll keep doing that. It's giving me a bit of a fly left command. So again, I'll fly left. I'll rest that descent rate. I'll put a bit of extra power in just to rest the descent rate a bit. And another thing I can do is just put another stage of flap in. It's coming in now. I want to get back on my 211 heading. Okay, put some more flap in. Want to rest that descent rate. Okay, we still want to ascend a little bit, but again, we want to get that glide slope back on, going down. So at the moment it's telling me to keep flying up, so I'll keep flying up. And we're back on vertical guidance almost. On horizontal we're good, so the left or right needle's almost in the middle. It's telling me slightly fly left command. You can see I only do a couple of degrees at any one time. It's telling me fly up, so a little bit more power to fly up a little bit. Okay, we're almost captured again. And what I'm doing is I've kind of got a scan rate going, right? So I've got altitude, the CDI, and I'm also looking here to make sure I'm kind of tracking in the correct direction. So there we go. We're back on descent rate. We're doing that ground speed now is 70. So we're going more like a 350 descent rate, roughly. We'll keep going down. I don't know if I programmed on the brakes, it'll be interesting. But anyway. Okay, you can see 211 on the GPS is what I'm aiming for. It actually says a bit of a right turn, but only a degree or two. So I'm doing like 3 degrees over the 211. So that should bring that back in. We've got a decent, the glide slope's basically on par. The localizer is telling me slight right. It's coming in now. It's telling me now to descend a bit quicker. So I'm descending a bit quicker. All right, keep on coming down. And we're coming down. So we keep looking CDI, GPS, vertical speed, and heading bug. CDI, altitude, CDI, that, then that. So, and I look at, when I'm on this, I look at the track and I look at the ground speed. I kind of match the two up. So it's telling me I want to fly down a bit more, reducing power a little bit, telling me to fly right a little bit. So we're probably coming up to our minimums now. So we can start looking outside. So we'll zoom up a bit. So there you go. We can see we're directly on the nice. The puppies are two red, two white, so that's great. And we'll keep flying down now. And I'll stop this video once we land. But now I'm less focused on the GPS. I'm looking outside. Focused on just landing. The ortho's pretty terrible, right? Because it's not a proper one. It's just the default one. It's telling me I'm a bit high on the puppies because it's now 3 whites and 1 red. So I can reduce power a little bit. In a small aircraft, it's okay. You can be 3 whites is not a bad thing because we can get down pretty quick. And we're going through the trees. Alright, we'll reduce power a little bit. A little bit of a crosswind here, I think. so I can get rudder straighten up and a little bit of ailerons to put into the winds. Power off now, transition, a little bit of balloon, get down. Let's see if I've got brakes. Yep, I've got brakes. And there you go. That's how you can use the 430 in that scenario. Hope you enjoyed.